All right. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? I'm a few seconds delayed. So, hello, hello. Can you hear me now? We're just waiting for the sound to pop on. All right. Can you hear me now? Okay. Now you can hear me. All right. So I got a little trouble today. Okay. I have spent all afternoon trying to figure out what is wrong with the microphones for my computer. And so the sound might, I'm going to listen to myself for just a minute. I'm sorry, that's going to be a little bit annoying here, but a little trouble today. Okay. So for some reason, my microphones aren't working. And so the sound is picking up on my computer. So I apologize if it sounds a little tinny or weird. I also, okay, good. Hi, Cindy. I'm going to try and watch things in the feed as I kind of talk to you guys today. But because I don't have anybody else helping me, so I'm not sure. I'm probably going to miss questions. We'll try to get back. Hi, Cindy Powers. We got Cindy and Cindy already popping on today, and a few other gals here. I'm only seeing the people popping on in. Hello, everybody. Janet. Everybody popping on. I'm only seeing the people on Facebook because I can only watch one stream at a time, and I'm not even good at that. Okay. So I had a really stressful afternoon trying to get my microphones to work. I was going to record a bunch of videos today and no mic. So that's, I don't know. I have several. I have every different mic option out here you can possibly imagine, but you're getting the sound from my computer. So let's talk about Flip Flap Pockets because it's Flip Flap Pocket week, and Flip Flap Pockets are all on sale for 15% off this week. You don't need a coupon or anything. They're just live on the website. So the first thing I want you to know about Flip Flap Pockets is, I go to overhead because I think it's going to be easier to see. Right? So you can download this right off the Flip Flap Pockets collection page on the website. So when you click on collections, Flip Flap Pockets, there's some text about them. And then at the bottom of the text, there is a link to the product guide. And this is really handy because it tells you the sizes of everything and what other products they pair with. If you get on there and when you click on it, you are getting the fancy folio link. Just refresh your browser. It was a bad connection. I fixed it. But if you haven't been on there since it's been fixed, you probably need to refresh your browser. And then, yeah, and you will get what you need to see. All right. Hi, Joyce. Hi, Kit. Watching from Michigan. Burr. I hope you guys are getting ready to warm up. I know we're headed to HSN on Sunday for TOOsday show, and hopefully the East Coast, the Northeast, is going to warm up just a little bit for us, just a tiny bit. I was talking on the phone to Stephanie today, and it is 70 degrees where she is in California. It's 80 degrees where I am here. So going to the chill is not going to be exciting. All right, but I am excited about HSN. Okay, so let's talk about Flip Flap Pockets. What do you need to know about them? I'm going to go to my overhead again here real quickly. So all the Flip Flap Pockets are the same. They all come in sets of 10 when you buy them alone. That you do get 5 of them in the file master. We'll talk about that in a minute. They all have this little locking tab on the flap right here so that you can lock it down and keep your goodies safe inside. You can also fold that flap back behind, give it a press. If you have a bone folder, right, you want to get that to lay flat, give it a press with your bone folder. If you don't want to use the flap, you certainly don't have to. You can even cut it off. But if you want to keep everything nice and neat and tidy inside your pockets, that's what that flap is for. So when you buy them, they come in sets of 10, 5 tab locations. So 2 sets of 5 is what you're going to get. So 4x6. 4x6 is actually 6 1/4 by 4 1/4. That's where this comes in handy, having this sheet, because it also tells you the dimensions, right? Everything's a little bit bigger than it should be. Now, remember, there is a dimension here all the way to the top of the tab, which is a 1/2 inch. So it's going to maybe say 4.75, but it's really 4 1/4 and then a 1/2 inch right there. Everything comes with the sticky tabs. Most of you know all that. Let's talk about what you can put in. What are your options for putting in a 4x6 Flip Flap tab divider pocket? Hi, Ruth. Hi, Becky. It's so good to see all you popping on. We got a lot of Cindy's tonight. Okay, Number one thing you can put in your flip flap tab divider pocket 4x6, of course, is photos. And I just put up a video, sorry, a blog post, excuse me, about how to use your pockets to get organized for scrapbooking. So that is on the how to blog if you're looking for a little help with that. These are card fronts. So if you make your card fronts and then adhere them to your cards, right? This has different texture and different dimensional items on it. You can store them securely in these little pockets so they stay clean and neat and undamaged. That's a great use for this. Pop dots. Pop dots, of course, right? These get sticky everywhere that you don't want them to be sticky. But if you put them into the pocket, they get a little sticky in there too, but they're not sticking on anything else, especially once you start breaking them apart. So if you want to store your pop dots safely, and so they're not sticking on anything else, try putting them in one of the 4x6 pockets. It's a great way. You could store dots and rectangles shaped separately. Red liner tape is a problem because if you don't wrap it in something or do something with it, it sticks to everything, including the inside of this pocket. But that's okay because it's not damaging or getting stuck on anything else. So it literally will stick in there. It won't fall out, but it's easy because this plastic's pretty sturdy to get it out of there when you need it. But it's going to keep everything nice and neat and tidy. Really like maybe a little adhesive spile here with your goodies. Project Life, that style of card where you've got the 4x6 and the 2x3 card combos. This is a great way to store those, right? Label them by theme or color or holiday, whatever you've got. And then you've got them all connected together in one nice, neat little bundle as well. Again, you can see from both sides. And then, of course, you're going to love just basic stamp storage, right? So 4x6 stamp sets are a perfect fit in the 4x6 flip flap tab divider pocket. So once you've got all your neat and tidy tab dividers pockets, what are you going to do with them? So there's several ways to store them. And again, another reason for you to download your flip flap pocket product guide, because it does tell you all of this. So first of all, you can store them in the 4x6 file master. Now this is going to come with 5 in it, but it will hold many more. So you can see I've got 10 there and it's a little less than half full, just depending on how fat your pockets are. That's going to tell you how many, but you're going to get anywhere in there from 15 to maybe as many as 30, depending on what is in the pockets, right? So that's a great way to store them, lock it down nice and neat and safe and tidy. If you're organizing, maybe you're doing a whole album, so you're filling all of those pockets with, each pocket is a layout for a double page or single page layout. You've got a whole album ready to go. If you've been around for a while, the Tiffany brand, you know, one of the things that I think is really helpful with photos, with getting ready for scrapbooking, is that when you are ready to scrapbook, you kind of make a guide. And this is addressed in the blog post as well. So if you go to the blog, and it's the how to blog, not the product info blog, you'll see it there. But you make yourself a little guide that says layout number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, however many you have, just a little index card, what that layout is about. And then you have your pictures ready to go. So when you're actually ready to sit down and start scrapbooking, you're not sorting through pictures all over again, right? So it'll really keep you focused. You'll be really productive if you take that first step of sort of organizing your scrapbook pages by theme or idea or whatever it is, right? So I think one of the examples that I use is like going on a vacation with my mom. We took a cruise. So number 1 was getting there. Number 2 was, you know, the ship. Number 3 was the entertainment. Number 4 was the side trip, whatever it is. But it really helped me to move through that album really quickly and get it done. Okay, so 4x6 4x6 file master. And then we have the box O and box C. So the difference here is box O, this is 3 inches high. Box C is 4 inches high and 3 inches wide. 3 inches high, 4 inches wide. So depending on the height of your drawer, if you're using these in a drawer, that's going to dictate whether you want the 3 or 4 inch. Now the 4 inch is not available yet. It is coming soon. Actually should be arriving at the warehouse. Well, we were told by the end of February. And it's pretty much the end of February. So I should say it's going to be there anytime, although with all the weather and all that, that's a different story. But these work great for storing on a shelf or in your craft cart. So if you're trying to organize a craft cart and you want to put your photos in there or embellishments or whatever you're storing, your project life cards, this is a great way to contain those within the craft cart. It's open and accessible, which is one of the beautiful things about the basic boxes. So you have two height choices. So you can see these will be so a little bit narrower. You're going to get less boxes in there, a little bit lower. And again, drawer height, craft cart height is going to dictate, and I guess space as well, whether you want to use the 3-inch or the 4-inch, right? So those are the 4x6 flip flap tab divider pockets. We'll take a look now. I'm going to take a quick look here at the feed and see if we have any questions. Oh, Cindy has a question. Can you create something to store cardstock paper for each color type that will store in the handlets my paper bend? I'm assuming you want something bigger than a pocket, because of course the pockets fit in the handlets. So if that's what you want, Cindy, let me know. And I will address that. Hi, Ruth. Thank you. I'm glad you love the new products. We are having a little bit of growing pains with the new products with the warehouse. So if you got your order fast and everything was perfect, thank you. I'm glad you did that. And if you've had some problems, please know that we are working our best as we can. And yeah, just new business growing pains I get. Crafty Cat, cards 412, got out of work early. Yay, we're glad you're here. Okay, so if you missed the beginning, I can only see well, I can see YouTube over there, but it's a long way away. So if you're asking a question, I may see it on the Facebook feed, but I probably will not see it if it's in YouTube. We will try to go back later and answer questions again. Okay, so we talked about 4x6 flip flap tab divider pockets. Now let's talk about 5x7 flip flap tab divider pockets. So all the basic things are the same, right? These are 6 by 7.25, right? 7.25 by 6. But other than that, all the other stuff is kind of standard, the way the tab works and everything. But I want you to kind of think outside of what might be your normal box for organizing things in your flip-flap pocket. So things like these are paper flowers, right? A little bit of dimension, not heavy dimension. But I have this set of tags and frames, right? So these are chipboard, right? Little like Polaroid kind of frames with the tags there. So just a really easy way to store those bulky embellishments together. Of course, you know I love storing things by color. The rainbow is one of my 4-section system places. And so buttons, bling, right? I've got some funky paper clips and my little tags here, and they all fit really well, really nicely. Nothing dropping out. I just turn it upside down, nothing dropping out because I've got the flip flap on there. Another thing, these are self-adhesive pockets for storing little mementos and creating flip pages and that kind of thing, right? In your scrapbooks or in a card, right? And they're hard to find because they're clear. And so if you set them down somewhere, they get lost. Put them into, and you can see I have 3 sizes in here. Put them into a flip-flap pocket and label it. Now, you know, this may also be in the area where you have your adhesives if you're putting them in the pocket as well. So that would work great. Ephemera, something I get asked about all the time. Again, group together by kind of theme or style. Give it, use the label tab to give it that label. Put things in frontward and backwards because you want to be able to see as much as you can. And so you're going to be able to see both the front and the back. That's going to work out great. And now if you've got these funky, easily lost embossing folders, right? These little tiny Sizzix embossing folders. Now, I put the label on them for 2 reasons. One, it's hard to see exactly what that is with right? It's just kind of clear plastic. So that helps with that. The other thing about this is if I set it down somewhere, because it has that colored label, it doesn't get lost as easily. So that could be really helpful for a couple of reasons. You can see I have 4 of them in this pocket. I know what these 3 are. I don't know what this one is because I didn't save the label on it. So if you have small embossing folders that are kind of wandering aimlessly around your creative space, this might be a great way to store those. Templates, those of you who love your Kiwi Lane. So this is a whole set of Kiwi Lane accessory templates, right? A little travel theme. So that's a great way to store that. Again, very visible, very accessible, and easy to organize using that labeling tab. This is also Project Life cards, but these are a little bit oversized because they have a corresponding bigger embossing folder. And so I wanted to keep all those things together. Again, if you've been around the Totally Tiffany family for a long time, one of my favorite things to say is keep things together you use together. So now I've got the cards and the corresponding embossing folder all together in one place. Of course, dies and stamps, no brainer, especially if you have the 5x7 magnets. I got dies and stamps in here. Easy to see, easy to get to, right? This is also a die set, but I had pre-cut all the pieces so that I could make multiples of this at one time. So I've got the pieces that go with the dies in the pocket when I'm ready to actually use these. It's going to be really easy to finish the project. Okay. So I've got my flip-flap tab divider pockets. What am I going to put them in? I am going to either put them in my file master, right? So this is the 5x7 file master. Again, it is going to come with 5. These are pretty bulky. I have these loaded up pretty solidly. So you could probably easily get another 5 in there. And when you look at, embossing folders, and I mean, this paper, this cardstock that's in this, I probably have, it's probably, if I stack it all up, you're probably looking at least a 1/4 inch, maybe closer to a 1/2 inch of paper and cardstock in there. So you can really bulk them up. And that is what's going to dictate how many pockets are going to fit in your, how many pockets are going to fit in your box. But so at least 15, and then on up from there. These come with 5, pockets come in sets of 10. Now, then you've also got 2 different heights. Again, the 4 inches are coming later of basic boxes to store these in. Now, the 3 inch is 4 inches wide, so you are going to get more pockets there. But again, this is going to work flawlessly in your cart, in your drawer, anywhere that you need to contain and control stuff and have easy access to it. You are going to love the flip-flap pockets with the basic boxes. So whether you're using the 3-inch high basic boxes or you're going to wait and use the 4-inch high basic boxes when those come out, depending on your drawer, maybe your shelf. Now, the other thing about these is that same height boxes can be connected together. So if you have a 10-inch deep shelf or a 15-inch deep shelf, you can connect boxes together that are the same height, right? So if I wanted to connect these 2 together, now I could pull the front and the back would come with me. So keep that in mind if you're choosing 4-inch or 3-inch basic boxes. What's your shelf situation? How much clearance space do you have? All of those kind of things. But you're going to love how easy the access is to all of your goodies when they're in this open basic box. And then, of course, if you're traveling with things, then the file master is better because the lid locks down on it. So, multiple reasons to have different types of things. Keep some maybe of these if you don't travel all the time. You just want to have a file master ready to go to load and take with you, something like that. It's going to be perfect for that. So that is the 5x7 flip-flap pocket. Cindy Posa says, did you say you are going to come out with something new for embellishments and ephemera? I want to know more. We are working on it. Something new for embellishments and ephemera. As you know, the scrap rack was my baby and I loved everything about it. And because of some weird legal issues, we are not going to recreate it. So we are working on some other things as well, but I can't really say anything just yet. Okay. So last in the 5x7 collection is the Karen zip and go bag. So if you love the zip and go bags and you want to contain and control your things in a zip and go bag that are 5x7, then you are going to love the Karen Zip and Go for all things 5x7. Okay, let's talk 6x6 now. So of course, your 6x6 flip-flap pockets are going to fit in the cutest of all paper handlets, the 6x6 paper handlet. And we'll go through kind of the few goodies that I have in here. I have some little tips and tricks as well. So this is a stamp set where the stamps, it didn't come with anything that was, like this with the black writing on it. So it was easy to know. So I just created my own. I stamped that out. Sorry, I always forget it's upside down for you guys. I just created my own so I would know what was in there. But so bigger stamp sets are going to be perfect in there. Of course, these are giant number stamps. So I've got 2 sets in there. Easy to see. Stencils, always a challenge for so many people. So no matter what size stencil you have, you're going to like the flip-flap pockets for that. So just a little tip here. So I just created this little pocket right here, right, to hold my stencils. And why did I do that? Because lots of reasons, several reasons, I guess. One is if you put your stencil away dirty, at least it's up against a piece of paper that's going to collect some of that residual ink or dirt. It's not going to get on too much of anything else. When you put it in the little pocket, though, with the paper on the back, now when you slide it in front of another stencil, right, it's not going to get hung up on that stencil like it might if there was no paper between them. So if I just try to slide these together, this one is going to get hung up in that one and vice versa. Especially, this is a much nicer quality. This is a Heidi Swapp stencil. It's not nearly as flimsy as this, so it's a little bit easier to work with. But the thin ones, they really, if you have that paper pocket there, that's really helpful. The other thing, as you notice, I have 3 in this pocket. You could put more than 3. You could probably put up to 5, I would guess. And what I've done is just use my labelets here, my little label, shut your flap tabs, and labeled it. So when I do put them all into the pockets, I can still see what's in there, even though I can't see all of them. And also you can definitely put one in, backwards, so you see them both ways when you flip over your thing. But see how easy they go into the pocket? I mean, it's just so simple because they're not getting hung up on each other because you have that extra, little piece of paper. And this is just, you could do something fun and cute. I just used super lightweight copier paper, right? But I've got 3 in there, but I'm pretty sure you could get 5 into each pocket with no problem. Oh, why did I put that in there? There we go. So super easy and a great way to store them and make it easy to find exactly what you need. Okay. Again, here we are with foam tape, just a thin roll of foam tape. Again, something that gets stuck on itself and others. So a great way to contain and control that. And of course, last but not least, scraps are ideal for any of the pockets. So this is 6x6 paper. Some of you recognize this as Stamps of Life, but really just perfect for paper storage scraps. Keep things together. You use together. Again, it is going to fit in the 6x6 handlet. It's also going to fit in the 6x6 fab file. And last but not least, well, not last either, this is the Faline Zip and Go bag. So if you love the Zip and Go bags, Faline is going to be your 6x6 go-to for Zip and Go bags. And if you want to store these in basic boxes, you can do that as well. I think they're going to work a little bit better if you wait for the 4-inch high basic boxes. They will go in the 6x6, but unless your box was really full, you got a lot of extra room, a lot of extra height over the top where you got that extra inch here. So if you're looking at basic boxes, the same basic boxes that work for 5x7 are also going to work for the 6x6. And that is on your handout if you print that as well. Okay, let's look for questions real quick. Here, I'm going to scroll through and see if there's anything. in here that I need to know. So again, if you type the word question with the word question in all caps, it's easy for me. Julie says, I think I need the 6x6. I know you do. We all do. You know, the biggest problem for me is you'll notice none of these are labeled. Like I haven't filled out any of the tabs yet. I just don't have enough. Yeah, I'm going to start doing this. I'm like, you don't have enough. You have to show people how to use them. You can't put your labels on anything yet. So I got to wait it out here. Okay. These are the 9x6 pockets. These are great. They're big. They hold lots of good things. They fit in the Kirsten zip and go bag. So if you are loving the zip and go bags and that's how you want to store your things, the 9x6 fit in the Kirsten bag. So I will go to my overhead and we will start going through all the cool and fun things that you can store in the 9x6. And I'm going to start with something that I get asked about fairly regularly, and that is old Cricut cartridges, booklets, overlays. So, well, this is not an ideal or perfect fit. It does work. You can store your cartridge, your booklet, and the overlay is inside the booklet here. So if you want to combine and conquer, sort of minimize the amount of space that you're using to store those, if you've still got them in the boxes, then this is a pocket that will work for that. Okay, other craft, or even maybe you're using this for paper crafting, but if you sew, this is a great way to organize all these tight, like double fold bias tape, baby rickrack, regular rickrack, blanket binding, all of those things. And I just wanted to see how much I could load up in here. And I have got 8 full, brand new. So this will hold 8, I don't know what that's called, right? Spool of rickrack bias tape, that type of thing. But imagine your sewing basket or your sewing drawer, or even you just have a little bit of lace or these type of things for different projects, just wrapped around a card and inside the 9x6 pocket, really going to consolidate those things down. 6x8 paper, perfect for that, right? So if you have gotten into 6x8 paper, I know there's a couple of brands creating 6x8 paper. They fit perfectly in here. You got a little bit of extra room. If you cut it in half and use it for a card front, you're going to be able to store those together as well. So just really a great way to organize your 6x8 paper. Also, it's kind of the standard rainbow holiday theme event, all of the 4-section system things. I would do it the same way here. So Linda's asking, any word on 8x8 pockets? We do not have an arrival date for 8x8 pockets, but I will keep you in the loop as those come online. Any plans for sewing storage? We're working on a few sewing things. So yeah, you might see some pretty interesting stuff coming. So keep your eyes on us. Big die sets, right? So this is a big oversized die set, this pennant. I do have a piece of magnet in there. So if you want to throw a magnet in there to hold those down, got another die set on the back side. So it's going to work great for dies and stamps. Now this, oh no, this is the planner, right? Same thing, oversized. There's the information how to use it. There's the dies, but again, it's kind of an oversized thing. So the 9x6 pockets are good. This die is really big. You can see. So what I did, I just tucked in the flap of the pocket, left that die sticking out the top. There's enough room in my Kirsten bag, so that's okay. But you might have to, if you have something big, this is a rarity, but it did work out just fine. It's just I can't lock down the pocket with it. Okay, now let's talk about these other weird little embossing folder sizes. So again, right, these, I've got 12 of them in here. Again, I just cut out the label and stuck it on there with a piece of tape. Now, these labels are thick, like cardboard or paperboard kind of labels. So it's on a piece of tape. And that way, when I put it through an embossing machine, I can pull it all the way back, feed it through the embossing machine. If you leave this while you feed it through the machine, you're going to get that rectangle of blankness where that is. So if you're putting something thick on there, not just a sticker, which I've got on some of these other ones, you want to put it on a little piece of tape or something so you can flip it back when you're actually running it through the machine. So don't do what I did. I mean, I learned that the hard way. But these are just stickers. They're just little thin, flat stickers. They don't have that same effect. So they were totally fine, but a great way to organize. Most of these are sentiments, embossing folders, right? So perfect for cards, but there's 12 of them in there. Here's another almost, I think, artist trading card size, again, with the stickers or the labels on them, so I know what they actually are. But again, I've got 6 of them in there. So if you're looking for a way to contain those smaller things, the 9x6 pocket is going to work well for you. A whole collection of embellishments that all go together. And then, of course, larger or oversized photos are going to be great in there as well. So for the 9x6, your storage options are the Kirsten. Oh, you know what I forgot with 5x7? Shoot, there's just so many ways to skin this cat. The Kirsten. Then you have the long boxes. Again, they're going to be, this is A and M. And if you haven't watched my video, when you get your boxes, write on them or put a little label on them with what letter they are, because otherwise you'll be measuring constantly. So I just write on them or use my label maker. So this is M and this is A. They're the same length, 3 inches tall, 4 inches wide, 4 inches tall, 3 inches wide. And again, where you're storing them, right? It's super easy. Do you want more height? Are you putting them in a drawer? Are you putting them in a craft cart? Whatever you need, but those are all going to work for this. Also, the 9x6 is also going to fit in the number 3 tag along tote. Let me make sure that is on the list. Yes, it is. If I was using my notes, I wouldn't have forgotten that the 5x7 fits in the number 1 tag along tote. So another option for storing those. So with 9x6, you're going to be able to use the basic boxes, again, the Kirsten, or the 9x6 tag along tote. One other kind of fun use for these pockets, well, I'm going to talk a little bit about the 8.5 by 11s and the 12 by 12s, but my desk space is too full here in the moment. This is my planner, and I have one of them just stuck to the inside of my planner. So if you have loose things that you're trying to control in your planner, you can put that in there and have that little extra pocket. I believe that if you have a good planner punch, you could probably punch through this and then actually put it on the rings as well. So it's a great way to use that. The other place that I have one of these, and I took a picture of it, I meant to bring it in the house, but I forgot. I have one this size in my car, and it has my registration and insurance in it. And it's just in the glove box in that little pocket. And we all keep our registration and insurance in the car, but it's always seems to be harder to find than it should be, maybe because there's other stuff in your glove box. But just throw one of these, fold it in half, throw that pocket in there. It's safe, it's labeled, it's ready to go. So just another kind of way to use those. I think once you get your hands on them, you are going to absolutely love all the different ways and all the different places that you can use them. Okay, I'm going to take a quick look here. Becky says, what is the best storage for the 49 and Market ink pads? I don't know. I don't know what size those are, but if you can tell me or what they're similar to, are they like Tim Holtz or Altenew, or are they more like Stephanie Bernard, Catherine Pooler? What kind of shape are they? Are they close to my heart or Stampin' Up? Give me a shape, Becky, and I will 100% try to solve that problem for you. So I will watch the feed and see if that pops up. Now, let's do a quick chat about I put them over here because I knew I was out of space. So of course, the 8.5 by 11 flip flap pockets are going to fit in the 8.5 by 11 paper handlet or the 8.5 by 11 File Master. And of course, I know I keep saying this, but File Master is going to come with 5. Okay, what are you going to put in there though? Well, of course, it's going to work great for paper and scraps, right? Same locking tab, paper and scraps. Again, if you haven't been around TT for a long time, my mantra, keep things together, use together, organize in your 4-section system. So you've got rainbow, you've got themes and sentiments, calendar year. Great way to organize. Again, if Cricut is your challenge and you want to save those, so I've got 2 books and 2 cartridges here. Put them in a file master, store them away if you're keeping them and you don't want to keep the boxes. It's an easy way to consolidate, less space. Again, these are standard 8.5 by 11. So any receipts, bills, anything, taxes, anything that you're trying to keep track of, it's going to be perfect in these pockets and in that file box as well. One of the things I think, you guys probably heard me talk about this before, my husband and I have one of the 8.5 by 11 file boxes, and all the pockets in it are important papers, birth certificates, marriage licenses, passports, all of those kinds of things. We call it our grab and go box, so that if something happens, some natural disaster, and we needed to just grab and get out of the house with it, all kind of those basic things are just in that one box. So this is a great way to do it. It's easy to label, you know, his military stuff, all those things, social security information, all in one place. So you have access to it, especially if you needed to leave in an emergency. So the 8.5 by 11, of course, is perfect for that. It's great, of course, for stencils and that type of thing as well. This is a journaling template that I've had forever and use constantly. But it has the little cuts in it. So if it's not in something, it's going to get hung up on other things as well. So really simple, easy way to store that. And then, of course, if you're doing any sort of project planning or you're collecting mementos or that type of thing, this is a great way to keep those together. You know, we talked about this for 12 by 12 and for scrap masters or fancy folios as well. Even if you're just on a trip. So some people don't want to take that fancy folio, it's too big or too bulky. Throw one of these in your suitcase, and as you're collecting concert tickets or train tickets or events that you went to or maps or anything like that, you have somewhere to throw that. Label it when you get it home, put it with, you know, wherever you're keeping your scrapbooking stuff. Easy, 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 which is key, right? If you can make it easy and keep it simple, then you're actually going to be able to get to those things and use them. And hopefully you will not finish a scrapbook and then later find that you left off the mementos or those types of things. So yeah, definitely a great way to combine and conquer. Okay, so that is the 8.5 by 11. And then last but not least, we have 12 by 12. And I know we talked a lot about 12 by 12 2 weeks ago when we had the 12 by 12 sale. So there was a lot there. I'll go through it real quickly for those of you who missed it, so you kind of get that sense of the different things that you can store in your 12 by 12 flip flap pockets also. So I guess we'll go this way. Right. Themes and sentiments, we just talked about it, keeping things together. You use together, great way to keep those themes together, right? Vinyl, this is flat sheet vinyl, 12 by 12 vinyl. So again, scraps and full sheets in there, really easy. Yellow scraps, now you know, if you know me, I would have this in my rainbow section, in the yellow section, and I've got scraps on both sides, like different sizes on both sides, so that I can really see a lot both ways when I flip this over with what's in that pocket. Talked about stencils earlier, big stencils in your 12 by 12. This is the same pocket idea. I just used the packaging from this stencil brand to create that pocket. Fancy or custom paper, so this is cut along the top. It needs to be protected. Same thing maybe with vellum, or if you have glitter papers that shed on each other, pockets are great for that. 12-inch border stamps, and I've got 10 of them in here, right? You can see 5 on each side. You know, these are really hard to store, but putting them in here, they're all visible, they're all accessible, they stand up nicely in either a paper handlet or a file master. Thickers, right? These are actually not the thicker brand, but they are chipboard letters. Chipboard letters, these are thicker brand, actually, I think on this side. But, you know, if you're looking for a place to store your thickers, you're probably going to get, depending on how thick your thickers are, you're probably going to get 6 panels, right? 6 sets in there in the 12 by 12. If you love things like Kiwi Lane, you probably have some of their bigger templates that are difficult to store. Again, this is part of their travel. So I've got the smaller templates in there. It's kind of hard to see. And then I've got the big template in there as well. Good way to keep them clean, safe, organized, and you're not going to lose the little guys either. Another great use is to take that pocket and just slide it into, with the scraps, into your 12 by 12 paper pad, right? And then when you stand this up on your shelf, right, between your paper handlets and your file masters, you've got the little tab sticking off the side, and I did label it on both sides, so it doesn't matter which way I approach the shelf, I'm going to see that. But now I've got my Valentine paper, I've got the scraps together, and I've got it labeled so that I can just pull it in and out. So a super easy way to take control of those scraps and keep them, again, keep things together, you use together. So it's a great use for the pockets as well. And then, you know, we're talking about organizing things, keep things together, you use together. So inside my travel theme, I might have a whole series of these pockets with different destinations of products in them, but they're all going to be stored together in travel. So the 12 by 12 pockets, kind of all for all your basic scrapbooking things, are going to be perfect in that scenario. Now, I do want to share with you one other thing. Let me get this out of the way. That is really kind of a cool use for your, or I guess a cool way to store the flip-flap pockets that you're ready to use. So this is a fancy folio. And if you are using this for trip planning or scrapbooking, you'll notice that I have flip-flap pockets here and here. So the 4x6 flip-flap pockets will fit in this pocket of your fancy folio. Now, when I say planning for a trip or whatever, so this is the cruise I did with my mom. Inside this, I've got 5 of the pockets with my little cheat note on the top, what each pocket represents. So I'm ready to scrap that. I've got the mementos. I might have some special things that I purchased for this trip in here as well. So the fancy folio makes it really easy to organize everything, throw your pictures into the pockets. And again, if you prefer bigger pictures, 5x7 pictures, then you can use the same idea with a set of 5 of your flip-flap 5x7 pockets in the bottom pocket. So when you're getting organized for to scrapbook something, that's a good way to do it. If you are not a scrapbooker, but you like to keep your photos and your mementos together anyway, just so that when you're going through them, you can be like, oh, here's the photos. Or maybe you don't print your photos, even if you're not a scrapbooker, but you want to keep those mementos from a trip, planning a wedding, home remodel, all the things where you're gathering things. You're going to love the fancy folio for that. And if you need to break things down into smaller pockets, look at the 5x7 or the 4x6 pocket to use inside your fancy folio. Woo! Okay, my friends, I think I'm going to take a quick look here. Cindy says, what email do you want me to use? Just go to the website and click on Contact Us. And that goes to customer service at the organized option. That'll get to me. I'll watch for it. Any plans for a landscape? Eugene says, any plans for a landscape 8.5 by 11 file master? Possibly. We've had a lot of requests for it. So, and that really kind of is the motivational for us to hear a lot from you guys. Becky says it's by Ranger, 49th and Market. If anybody knows, I know Ranger makes Tim Holtz inks, but they also make, I'm going to look really quickly here and see if I can, 49th and Market, see if I can see it and answer your question real quick. We are going to be doing, for those of you, 49th and Market. Okay, so that looks like 49th and Market looks like kind of the standard sizes that are going to be LDRS, little darlings, rubber stamps. It looks like, let me grab it real quick. I think you're going to find that that is going to fit perfectly in the Stephanie zip and go bag. Hang on one second. Do I have Stephanie here? I think I do. Yes. So pull this too and take a kind of quick peek there. So I'm going to share this with you guys. I haven't, because you're here, you can get kind of the advanced info. So I'm going to say it's either like this, which is Gina K, or like this, very similar size. So 49th and Market is going to fit in the Stephanie Zip and Go bag. You can get 5 or 6 ink pads in each little section here, just depending on, I mean, there's some few variations between each of these ink pads. Some of them stack better than others. So 5 to 6, and that is the Stephanie Zip and Go bag. You're going to love it for that big label pocket on the end. I also want to talk for a minute about, so I was going to give you some inside scoop because you're here. We haven't talked about this at all because it's kind of new and I'm still working on it. But if you go to our website, there's a new section in the header in the menu, and it says sort and store. I'm not even sure it's always going to say that. This could be another opportunity for you to chime in. So when you click on that drop down, it is going to give you things by type of thing, ink pads, and by size of thing, 12 by 12, 8 by 8, 4 by 6. So that if you are looking like, hey, I need 4 by 6 storage, you don't have to go look in file masters and then look in pockets and then look in basic boxes. You can click on 4 by 6 and it will show you everything we make in 4 by 6. And from there, you can click on what you're interested in and go to the product page. So the first one that I put the most information in for products rather than sizes of things is the ink pads. So you're going to find there lots of information about ink pads. Oh my gosh, you guys, okay, hang on. So I'm going to talk about this first. So 3 ink pads. Now these are the Stamps of Life. And I'm going to tell you why I don't like this. I don't like this because there's only 3 ink pads in there, right? It's not, this is a perfect pouch, skinny pouch. It's not a lot of storage. You can put a label on the side and stack them up. So that it does, there is a purpose for it there. What I do like it for, I like it for traveling, for going to an event, knowing what you're working on. So rather than having to take your whole Stephanie bag, if you know you're only going to need 3 or 6 or even 9 inks, then this is the skinny pouch is a great option for going with just a few inks. And if you're only going to go with a couple of inks and you know what they are and what you want to take with you, then right? And you just want to take a couple of inks and a couple of your small ink pads. And maybe you're inky enough that you know you are also going to need to take your re-inkers, or maybe you just always like to take your re-inkers because you want to be sure that you have everything that you need. All of that fits really nicely into the skinny. Maybe it's easier here. So the skinny pouch. Okay. Why do I love this? Well, for a couple of reasons. One, you're not having to carry your whole Stephanie bag, which is heavy and takes up a lot of space. I like it because if you're doing this, you are probably planning more what you're doing when you're going somewhere. And whenever you take less, you tend to get more done because you stay focused, right? If you take too much stuff and too many options, you spend more time, you know, we say paralysis by analysis, trying to figure out what to do. Whereas with this, you've made your decision, you're ready to go. And the other thing I really love about it is that the lids do not come off the ink pads, right? So if you just tried to throw ink pads into just some other little case that wasn't locked down and tight like this, the lids come off. And that is an annoying thing about ink, but it is a thing. So this is on that page, I think, the ink in the drop down under ink storage. If it's not, I need to add it. I might not have put it on there. But anyway, so I love this. And then again, it just is going to clip onto your pouch, right? So if you're using one of our double pocket paper pouches, or you're using the big base pouch, you're going to be able to connect this onto there, or a couple of these onto there as well, or even just throw it in your tote. And that's the beauty of it. It doesn't matter what happens to it. No lids are coming off your inks anywhere, right? So I really love it for that. Would I store my inks this way? Maybe if you're not super inky, right? If you just have a couple of inks, then it might be a great way to store, 369 ink pads. It's visible, it's accessible, and the lids aren't going to fall off, which I love, right? So there we go, people. All right. Let's see. Do I have any more questions popping up? I got Becky there. Fancy folios are great for home ownership warranties. Yes, great idea. Yeah, keeping all those things together. Perfect. That is awesome. I hadn't thought about that, but I have a bunch of those things all in a drawer, taking up space. I'm probably never going to use them. And I could put them all in a fancy folio and then throw them on a shelf. So thank you for saying that. All right. Let's see. I think I got a question. Oh, Barb. Hi, Barb. Question. Could you consider a product grid based on the sizes so all the 5x7 products are on one grid? I love that idea. Yes, I love it. And you know where I'm going to put it? I'm going to write right here, product grid by size. And I know for those of you who have been around TT for a long time, we used to have like a product grid that said ink pads and washi tape and all these other things, and it would tell you what products, if you're trying to store washi tape, here's what products we make that are going to work for that and how they're going to work. And we will get there. It really is just a process of getting the information together and getting all the pictures taken and all those kinds of things, but we will definitely get there. I love the idea of doing a product grid by size. So if you went now to that new sort and store, okay, and clicked on 4x6, there's all the 4x6 things, but you would be able to print this and have that so you could reference it easily. I love it, Barb. I am on it. Is going on my list. Okay, so I need to backtrack because I started to say about sort and store, which is the category. Is that the best category name? And I was like, what should I call this? Organized by, or I don't know, whatever that little category should be. If you have an idea, take a look at the category, right? So the idea is I need to store something that's, 6x6. You could click on that, click on 6x6 and see everything. Or I need to know, I have a specific kind of ink, 49th and Market, and I need to know what it fits in. And you could click on that, and the ink ones are in alphabetical order, 49th and Market, and you would see the options that fit 49th and Market. So when you look at there's some redundancy, right? Like the same thing that fits Stamps of Life, fits Little Darlings, fits Crafter's Companion or Spectrum Noir. So the pictures are similar, but they're all there to show you which things that brand works with, right? Close to my heart, Stampin' Up, any of those things. Ulta New is a unique size. Tim Holtz is a unique size. Okay. So before I sign off here, I get asked questions all the time about, I don't know why my screen isn't showing me things now. Oh, no. I get asked questions all the time about mini inks. So here's a little sneak peek of what's coming about those mini inks. So these are the different 1.5 inch high basic boxes, and I have clipped this series of boxes together using the Creative Connector tool, and then able to slide it all onto my shelf here for a single level of things. So this works great. And I know for those of you who are, here's the label off one of my basic boxes that just stuck on my finger. Those of you who are wanting to travel with your mini inks, this will also hold, I think there's a picture of it on there. If there's not, I'm going to post it on the ink page. I'm going to look right now. I'm going to not say I don't know, I don't remember. You know, you think that I would remember because it was only a couple of days ago. So sort and store, I'm going to click on ink storage. Whoops. Sort and store, ink storage solutions. Mini inks are at the bottom. Did I put this in there? Oh yeah, there it is. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. You can get 18 mini inks in here too. So again, well, it may not be the ideal for easy access when you're working at home. It's great for travel and it's easy to store flat. And then, but the 1.5 inch are good for home use, and then able to just drop that on your workspace, work out of it, pick it up and put it back away. And yeah, I mean, you're going to love these. You're going to love working with them and how easy they are to use. There's my little sticky note that came off the other one. And I just stacked 2 of them together in there, right? So you could label them teardrop inks, mini ink cubes, whatever you need to label them. And then it makes it easy to pull them in and out as well. So really kind of, yeah, great, a lot of options there. Barb says, I love the grids. Thanks for the idea, Barb. Susan agrees with Barb. That would be awesome. I love it too. I can't believe we never did it before. Yeah, that's a great idea. Let's see. Question. Will the fancy folios ever come with 3 punch holes for binder storage? That's an interesting question. I think the biggest problem with them and doing that is we used to make a product that was very similar to that in the old TT days, and it had that tab off the end here with the 3 holes in it. And the problem is a binder big enough to fit it. We made a binder that fit it. But a standard 12 by 12 binder won't fit because it's 13 by 13 probably plus with the tab. So, we could do it. Would you like to see a zipper binder that fit that? Or we did a zipper binder that held it all. So we called them, they didn't open up this way. I'm sure some of you have been around. They were called project planning pages. They had kind of a similar pocket configuration, but they had 3 holes. Big pockets on one side, 12 by 12 pocket on the other. So yeah, that might work also. I will definitely, yeah, tell us what you like. You know, we do go through the feed later and try to read everything and get caught up on things. And Katie King, who does our social media, she really tries to pay attention and get all those questions answered. And if she needs to put up a post to explain something, she's really great about that. So please feel free to put a comment in the feed. Then we do give away a $25 gift certificate every night. If you have commented, I'm going to spin the wheel here on my big screen and it will pick someone. So if you haven't made a comment yet and you're out there and you want to win the $25 gift certificate this week, you definitely need to make a comment now. So in the wrap up, I want you to go to the Flip Flap Tab Divider Pocket collection, and in the text you will find a link to download this, print it, and add it to your organization notebook. And so you have the sizes and dimensions and the products that work back and forth, so you can make great decisions about what you need and when you need it. If you do need a Flip Flap Tab Divider Pockets this week, it's a great week to buy them because they are 15% off. No coupon needed. So that sale ends on Sunday at midnight. So yeah, figure out what you need. Get them ordered this week. Save yourself some money. You're going to be so glad you did. You're absolutely going to love working with the new Flip Flap Tab Divider Pockets. All right, I'm going to spin the wheel here, everybody. So if you haven't made a comment, now is the time. 1, 2, 3. Who's it going to be? It is going to be, I'm going to put your thing up here, your comment here. Cynthia Synth-Lod. I don't know. I don't know what your email means, but that means you're watching on YouTube and I don't have your contact information. So if you see your name on the screen right now, then you need to email Barb at The Organized Option. That's Barb, B-A-R-B, just like Barb Carlson, at theorganizedoption.com, and let her know that you are this week's winner, and she will get you all hooked up with your $25 gift certificate. So yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me tonight for Flip Flap Pocket Extravaganza. My desk is a mess. I hope you learned some things. I hope you found some good tips and tricks for getting organized with our Flip Flap tab divider pockets. And I will look forward to, I won't be here next week because we have Home Shopping Network on Tuesday. I'll be in Philadelphia, so I will miss seeing you next Tuesday night here. But join us on HSN. Stephanie and all the girls will be there. It's so much fun. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you soon.